Hello, everyone. Welcome to the meeting since our summer holidays. So regular meeting of council, Tuesdays, August 26th, 2025. Council chambers. We would like to begin this meeting by acknowledging that we are gathered on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territories of the Inca, Kappa, and Silk people. Councillor Charney is joining us from somewhere out in the Netherlands there, so she's somewhere. Whatever. The netherworld. Any late items? No late items. Public input. We have public input. Brooke Barra would like to come up for 1 minute and introduce yourself. So I'll just get you to push that button in front of you there.
Hi, Mayor Getson, council members. I just wanted to introduce myself and be here to answer any questions you may have. My name is Brooke Barra. I am the area coordinator for Merritt Neighborhood Welcome. This is an initiative that is focusing on supporting local businesses and welcoming new residents to the community. Through our welcome packages, we foster a sense of belonging for newcomers. We promote community connection and we strengthen the local economy at the same time. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, we will talk at 8.5. Thank you. Thank you, Brooke. Yeah. Adoption of minutes, 4.1, regular council meeting minutes, July 22nd, 2025. Recommendation that the minutes of the regular council meeting held on July 22nd, 2025 be adopted. Councillor Deegan, Councillor Etchart, any errors or omissions? All those in favor? Opposed?
Aye.
Great, thank you. 5, general matters, delegations, recognitions. Terry Haddon was unable to make it tonight, so we are rescheduling that so we can remove that from the agenda. Business Development Variance Permit, DVP 2025-003, 1799 Menzies Street. We have a recommendation that council grants Development Variance Permit 2025-003 to allow common open space instead of private open space for individual units for a multiple unit apartment development at 1799 Menzies Street. I need a mover. Councillor Petrosi, Councillor Baxter. Open to questions.
I have one.
Hold on a second. Councillor Egan and then Councillor Charney.
Okay, thank you. I went back and forth with this over the last couple of days reading it, and I do have a couple of questions for Kenate. Just because I think that we need to, for me to make a informed decision, I need to be assured of the population that they're catering to.
Okay. So Hiram, I'll get you to come to the. So we do have someone. We have Hiram Peterson here, so I'll get Hiram to come to the microphone.
I'll defer to Carrie, and if she can't answer the question, I'll
Okay.
answer it.
Carry online. Off you go. I'm not sure she can hear us.
Oh, I can hear you.
Okay, you're up.
Awesome, great. So my name's Carrie. I'm working with the Kenite Friendship Society as a development consultant. And so this project is to bring housing to the community that's much needed. And so I believe the question is, what kind of resident will be living in this housing project?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes. So my understanding, and Hiram, please step in if anything is off, but is really to cater to those that are in need. So Kenite Friendship Society serves a diverse community within the city of Merritt. So that could be families, it could be single people. They're really just trying to create a space in the community for that need.
So they're not, these are not people that are coming out of the shelter?
No, it's not geared. It's not supportive housing. This is purely rental that's geared to income. So they're providing different levels of support financially, and that's through different grants through BC Housing. And so it's not supportive housing. It is multifamily geared to income.
Okay, so in a lot of this literature that you gave us, one of the concerns was that Juliet balconies or other kinds of balconies would be not necessarily used as such, other than they would be used for storage or places to, just they would look cluttered. and maybe
Yeah.
be a fire hazard or barbecue, so that you're trying to eliminate barbecues to reduce fire hazards as well.
Correct, yes. And so what the design of the building includes is we do have public amenity spaces for the community, and that would allow for space that they could come together, hence the variance for allowing for the amenity space to allow for or accommodate for the private. And it also allows for different unit types within the building as well without those balconies.
Okay, so how many more units are you able to create by eliminating the balconies?
I don't have that. We didn't do that feasibility study.
Well, that should have been in the development plan. No?
No, so what we've submitted for is based off of no balconies.
Councillor Charney.
I also have done a lot of reading on private space and common space, and both are inherently important. I think you have to have a combination of both private space and common space. A private balcony or space allows for sanctuary for relaxation, thinking, and recharging it. And that then reduces stress and improves focus and enhances mental well-being. You don't get that in a common open space. In the common open space, you get social connections, which I think are very important. But I don't think you should have all common open space to the detriment of private open space. I think that people have to have a quiet, safe place to process emotions and have time without interruption from anybody else. It's their own private space. When they need social connections, they can then go down to the common space. So I think it's very important that we continue with balconies on this complex.
Thank you. Councillor Elgin.
Thank you. So it seems that nearby's residents were notified about this variance development. Were there any, question to staff, were there any concerns raised? Yep.
Thank you, Councillor. The application was sent to different departments as well as Interior Health. There were no concerns based on the rationale that was provided, and the rationale was also circulated to the departments, and there were no concerns raised. So,
Thank you. So I feel that approving the variance allows the housing project to proceed without any compromising livability or design facility. So I don't see any problem. So it was interesting to see that if they had utilized this space for private spaces versus open spaces, they would have need the same amount of space. So this different approach, it's like, according to the report, it says that it's to promote the social health and affordability benefits for the residents of the community. So I don't have any concerns.
Thank you. Councillor Richard.
I was just wondering, with this proposed outdoor space, how much more reduced is it than what's allowed, like in relation to what's there right now? Because right now it's multi-townhouse units. So are some coming down and then being replaced by 4 stories with the 25 and the 10, kind of a small apartment? And it was mentioned in the report also that there would be an access to go to the school that was maybe more accessible. That was one of the Interior Health recommendations that I read. And so I just was wanting clarification on that. Would there be like a gate so that residents could walk to the Diamond Vale Park from the Menzies location?
yes, there was a recommendation for connection towards the school, and I think Carrie can actually speak to the design much better. But there were multiple units, and some of those townhomes were demolished. I think there was a fire a few years ago, and and then they were demolished. So that was replacing 3 units, but the three townhomes on the right side, when you're looking at the property from Menzies, are still going to be there. So the apartment building replaces the 3 townhomes on the left.
Okay.
That's correct.
Is there
I don't know if
parking?
I'm still muted, but that's correct. And as well as the access that
Yeah.
you were asking about, that is going to be implemented.
Is the parking gonna still remain at one place per unit or will
So-
it depend?
So the parking is calculated and the existing site or the existing plan that they have designed actually accommodates the parking for the existing units plus the new parking requirements for the apartment units.
Counselor Baxter.
I've talked to some of the residents in the area and they're in favor of having this complex because they're looking forward to having something built there after the fires. They want to see some growth. They want to see something change so that they can have more relatives and friends and people in the neighborhood.
Thank you, Counselor Petrosi.
I'm in agreement with Councillor Charney about the private space. I think it's really important for individuals or families to have private space, fresh air, actually. And was there any concern, fire safety, fire department, access to suites? I know with balconies, it'd probably be easier access, safer access for fire department to, if they are called. Was there any?
So given the proposal, since it was also sent to the fire department, they did not raise any concerns related to fire safety if the balconies are not present, in absence of balconies. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Counselor Hogan.
And I just want to make sure that this shared open space satisfies our zoning requirements, correct? So there is no issues. And this would not be different from a hotel, that not every hotel has balconies. I don't see any issues. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Krisha. Appreciate it. Any other questions from council? I'll ask the question. All those in favor? Opposed?
I am.
You're opposed?
Yes.
Paul, you're opposed? Okay. Counselor Charney, Counselor Petrosi opposed. Passed. Thank you. 8.2. Discharge of Covenant LB 265645, 3299 River Ranch Road. We have a recommendation that council direct staff to discharge Covenant LB 265645, which is required at the time of approving rezoning application RZ 2008-10 for 3299 River Ranch Road. I need a Councilor Petrosi, Councilor Ogan. Questions? Councilor Charney, any questions? I can't see your hand or anything. so-
No questions.
Councilor Ogan.
I just want to add that I feel that this covenant had a purpose in 2008. Right now, I feel like it's relevant, so I don't have any problem.
Councilor Egan.
Yeah, the only question I had, and it's just a question about for the planning department, I think, is that why is there 10 square meters, or I don't know, whatever, it's 10 meters for commercial space and then mandatory 12 for residential?
Don't look at me.
Well, I'm just asking. What's the diff?
I think it's fire separation between the floors. Has to be bigger if you're staying like overnight. You know,
Can we get that question for Councilor Egan confirmed?
I will, yeah, I'll send that.
So if we can get that done.
Tomorrow, hopefully.
Don't want to go on a hunch here, so. Thank you. Any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. 8.3 water meter installation, non-responsive customers. We have a recommendation that council direct staff to turn water off until communication is established with customers after 3 letters from the contractor, 1 letter from the city, and 3 phone calls attempts have not been established contact. Councilor Rogan, Councilor Petrosi. So for myself, I'll start this one. Since I've got the first water meter. I've never been a fan of water meters, but I understand why we're doing it. I understand why we're moving in that direction. Now, we know for a fact that we're going to get people who are not going to go with the flow, and we understand this. This is something I would like to see happen as the very last resort. I don't agree with cutting people's water off. I think we're looking at about a year and a half before we actually get this thing on the road. It's just plenty of time for us to educate people, letting them know that water has to be paid for. We have to make sure water is in the ground. The other thing that people have to understand is this is a one-time only deal. Once the water meter's time is done and gone, and if you decide to hang out and not do it, and all of a sudden we have a provincial or federal edict saying you need water meters, you'll be paying for your own water meter. You won't be getting a free one installation or having it looked after by the city sort of thing. So I would like to see us, I can't support this. To me, it's a little draconian right off the get-go, but it's something I think after a year and a half of trying to get people to come on board, I think this would, for me, I'm just not ready to support this. I think we need to educate a lot more. That's council. And I think if we need to have more meetings to talk about the water meters and the benefits of them. Like, I mean, when we look at it, everybody is paying the same amount of water. So I'm paying the same amount of water for a guy that's got a tub and a giant pool. Whereas once we put the water meters in, it'll separate. You'll be able to be the master of your own destiny. You're still paying for water anyway. It doesn't matter. So anyways, that's me. Councillor Rogan.
Thank you. So this is a sensitive topic. I try to understand staff position because it's really stopping them from doing their job. What else can they do if they have already notified these people? At the same time, I am with Mayor that we have to, I feel like we have to establish a policy or a procedure in place so that the staff doesn't have to come back to us and say, what am I going to do if they are unresponsive? So I feel like if there is a procedure in place where I feel like the final letter has not been sent out, I think that we need to include a deadline stating that if we are unresponsive by this deadline at this time, then the water should be shut off. But again, so we need to give at least 10 business days, things like that. But again, so we have to, maybe it's better if we take this to policy and create a policy regarding this so that this is just a few cases and you will be dealing with more cases in the future. So we have to have something in place.
Thank you. Councillor Baxter, you had your. Councillor Charney?
I agree with Councillor Olgan. I think that when these letters go out, it has to be very clear as to the steps, the process steps, so that residents know if I don't fulfill step A, this is what's going to happen in step B and step C. So if there's a clear timeline for them and they don't abide by the guidelines, then I think the water should be turned off. But I think the guideline has to be very clear for them.
So what I'm hearing is we should move this to policy.
I agree.
I just want to clarify a couple of things. The letter from the contractor, the final letter that I sent out, those correspondence, they are just from the contractor. Don't forget, city staff are going to send out another letter and make 3 phone call attempts. It's not going to be 3 phone call attempts in 3 days. It'll be spaced out. So it'll probably be several months from initial contact to end of the process. And we're not trying to shut people's water off. We just want people to respond. And if you don't want the water meter, that's all we need people to say. It's going to result in council making some additional decisions and having to come up with another plan. And yes, we have to continue doing education. You know, most communities that they've worked in, they're telling us they have like 95% compliance on water meters. The vast majority of people are just going to get a water meter. And what happens is you forget to call back or you forget to make your appointment. Or I am supposed to make an appointment for Thursday because I said I'd be the next volunteer to get a water meter and I keep forgetting. So, you know, people will forget. And this is just a reminder. It's those people who are actively avoiding us that we're going to see over several months of trying to get contact. And that's right. Like, what is our stick to get this compliance? And it is in your bylaw for water and sewer that we do have the authority to shut off services, and that is supported in the community charter. It's not the ideal situation. People have a right to water. However, they don't actually have a right. It's not a human right to have water delivered to your home. You just have the right to clean water, which you can get in other locations. But it is unpleasant. Nobody wants to do it. We're just, exactly as Councillor Olgan said, looking for something that we can we can make people at least just make a statement, right? Like, don't waste our time, just answer the question, kind of thing. So
And-
if we can draw something up, probably even for policy. Sure.
And the thing that gets me, the fact is that every time, most of us have heard this as we are out in the community, every time we have somebody come here, the first question is where are we gonna get the water from? So the water meter question has been out for quite some time. I mean, when you look at the whole process, last council started this process. We're installing and the next council will actually do the billing. So it's a 12-year process that this is happening over. So I know the community is concerned about water and I know that, you know, there will be some people that are, you know, a little unhappy with it, but we keep getting asked this question all the time. So this is one of the reasons way we can say how it's working. Mr. Green, you're up.
Thank you, your worship. Is that thing on?
Yep.
So to add a bit of context that is width of context more than anything else. The CAO has expressed that your bylaw already covers, I guess, the questions you had earlier about what happens and how things are connected with how we provide water service. So this largely was, if I followed the bylaw, I figured that would be a little bit of a slap in everybody's face without having a conversation first, and I'm looking for some direction. The primary reason I need some direction soon, and we have to get all our cards on the table, is I have a contractor that has a contract that intends to be done 2,700 water meters by March. Putting them in, we don't have a couple of years. Putting them in means we're putting them in, and we need to get that contract fulfilled, and it may end up in some contract implications from cost perspective if we don't fulfill our contract with the contractor. Might be able to work our way around some of that, but it's just one more thing that we need to think about is they're on pace. They bid based on a certain quantity and we need to get some decisions made. Now, relating to, you know, the phone calls and the letters and whatnot, the time frame, I'm letting the contractor do their stuff. When I start trying to contact people, I'll be a little bit more interested in specific dates of response and whatnot, and trying to establish contact, planning even to go knock on doors if I have to. The whole intent of a quick water off is people call me really fast when the water's not working. I will establish contact pretty darn quick. If we go out there and turn, you know, 5 water taps off in one day, I'll get those 5 phone calls usually pretty quick. I'll send somebody out immediately to turn it back on. I just want to talk to you and get you on either a direct refusal list or a, oops, I just didn't have time or I wasn't quite sure what to do. And then we'll try and work it out. The contractor is expecting what they usually get, which is in that 95% range of compliance. You know, they're expecting a little bit of an issue. They also bid and have done their program based on knowledge of our bylaws and what they should expect from bylaw support. So that's why I'm a little bit concerned now that we've started the program. If we take too much time to think about how we get people's opinions marked down and what we're going to do, we need to move on this and mainly get the project done, get it done on time and move on with things. So that's my kind of pitch for, if you don't like the solution I provided, which I get is draconian. If you got any better ideas, we need to move because we have a contractor expecting to get their job done and get out of town. So, thank you.
Nope. Councilor Petrosi.
Mr. Green, you said door knocking would be the last resort, you're saying, right? So kind of, right. Okay, yeah.
In between appointments, they've got a person going around in the neighborhood they're working in, putting the door knockers down. My process was going to be send a letter out with a defined date of response, try to make some phone calls, and if I have to go out and knock on a few doors and engage with people, quite happy to do that as well and intended to. My goal right now is to get a response of absolutely not, or trying to get anybody that sort of just fell off and just didn't bother doing something. Let's try and get you hooked up and get you going. But I need people on either side of that committed so we can then tell you what's going on and we can get this resolved before the end of March when the contractor is expecting to be done.
Thank you.
CEO?
So there's a few ways we can set around timing on this. We can move the contractors to the next sector, but ultimately we can't wait until March to make those decisions. I do think it's important to, if I could, Mr. Mayor, this administration is not recommending changing how we bill because water meters are installed. At this time, it's purely just for residents who maybe haven't heard this message. We are data collecting. We're looking for the health of our system and any place where there's leaks, which is going to take us a good solid year. So we have to be able to look at all 4 seasons. And, it'll be 2028 probably before we make any recommendations. In the fees and charges bylaw, the reason we put in future billing is so people understand where the city is going financially and what their financial obligations to their community might be is over the next few years. Only 2025 is currently an approved fees and charges. When we put other stuff in, it's really to give people a sense of what things might cost, like what we're anticipating based on inflationary rates, based on what we're seeing as costs of construction and those sorts of things, what our commitments are going to be to our community financially as individual households. So just because you get your water meter, you're not going to be charged immediately any differently than you're currently being charged for water and sewer services. So if that is something that's hanging people up, thinking, oh, I don't want to get it because I don't want to get a monthly charge, those are examples of what it might be costing us as we're moving forward for individual households, based on the fact that currently it's like $3.2 million to operate our water sewer system. And monies that we had identified in our fees and charges would allow us to cost recover, which is something we're supposed to be doing for water and sewer. So but that's a 2028 discussion, as you said, that's the next council's problem.
Yep. So thank you. Any other questions? So we do have a motion on the floor. And the motion is that council direct staff to turn water off until communication is established with customers after 3 letters from contractors, 1 letter from the city, 3 phone call attempts have not established contact. Minimum, okay, fine. Minimum of. Any questions further? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Carried. Eight point four, digital sign installation, public information. That council approved proceeding to final design and procurement of the digital information sign to be installed on Vote Street. Recommendation that council authorize entering into agreements as required with Crime Stoppers to fulfill the grant terms. Crime Stoppers grant of $14,385 and with the vendor BMB Signs under the city's standard contracted terms. A recommendation that council approve funding the balance of the digital public information sign project costs from the General Capital Reserve Fund to the maximum of $18,000, subjected to final budget confirmation and grant terms. Councillor Egan, Councillor Etchart, Councillor Ogan. Any questions?
I do.
Councillor Charney.
The ongoing maintenance, do we know the approximate cost of the ongoing maintenance of a sign like this?
CAO.
So I do have some experience with this. The maintenance should be relatively minimal. We're talking about potentially some bulb changes or some software updates. But until we have the final contract, we won't know exactly what those costs will be in regards to like how often or what type of software updates we might be responsible for. Bulbs are not inexpensive, but they are relatively long-lived compared to a household bulb, LED.
Okay, and like look on the background and it says what the sign is going to be used for. It looks like the same information that is currently on our Merritt Herald page. So once this sign gets up and operating, are we going to discontinue with the advertising in the Merritt Herald?
That wasn't our intention, Councillor Charney. What happens is that we often hear from people that we don't communicate enough, despite the fact that we have the city page. We have often posters around the community. We have Facebook, we have LinkedIn, we have the website. We've done some radio campaigns. I think that our communication manager does radio notices monthly. So we do a lot, but we still hear that we're not adequately communicating with the community. I don't know that there are a lot of other venues for us to do this or a lot of other streams of communication available to us. So this would be an additional stream that we can use on top of what we're currently doing. So we wouldn't change what we're doing. We would just add this on.
Okay, so will the communication be duplicated?
It will be, some of it will be duplicated, but we'll also see, the fire chief wants to be able to put the wildfire, risk rating on there, as well as our drought conditions, which we don't typically put in other places. Any other kinds of emergency information that we would have to get out fairly quickly would also be able to go on that sign.
What
So
is
a
the
lot of it
cost?
would be duplicated.
What is the cost of the Merritt Herald page?
I would have to find the contract and I don't think I think that's I don't know if that's a public, well, can we get back to you on that tomorrow?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Councillor Egan.
Yeah, I was just looking at the construction of the sign. I mean, it's a very nice looking sign and everything, but it looks to me like the frame is made out of wood. Can we not have it made out of something more permanent that doesn't need to be, that won't be subject to wear and tear in the sun and the elements?
I think we were looking at a composite potentially for the sign as an option. Yeah. So we have looked at composite instead of real wood.
Okay.
as
You're
an option.
talking Simwood? Cement,
Well-
wood mix, Simwood, I'm
Like
sorry.
you use for your decking and stuff like that.
I don't have a deck.
Okay, well, that's, you
That I
know,
use, yeah.
it's not real wood,
I'm in the wrong neighborhood.
composite. All I call it is a composite,
Okay.
engineered wood.
Okay, thanks.
Councillor Baxter.
Is there any other way that we can find other grants so that we wouldn't have as much burden on our financials?
Not in the time frame that we're looking at. They have to have this Crime Stoppers, the recipient of the $14,000 grant, have to have this project done by the end of this calendar year. We've applied for other grants around crime prevention and things like that and haven't been successful this year, so I don't know how much success we would have.
Any other questions?
Just want to comment. that
Sure.
I
Oh,
think
sorry.
that If you make us, if you're doing this for the Crime Stoppers as well as fire, safety, city announcements, you don't want to overload it too much because you don't really want people sitting at the bottom reading it like a newspaper, you know what I mean? Yeah. And it'll defeat the purpose. They'll have to wait and wait and wait for the initial thing to come around again. So I don't think you should have a whole lot of co-partners with this.
Councillor Richard.
Yeah, no, the reason that I would be in support of this is because Crime Stoppers was finally successful after a long effort of trying to get this sign. And they got the grant and it has to be used. And instead of it being on the CPO building, which they don't have anymore, there's really no place to put it. And it just seems like the best place to have it on the hill with all the traffic that we get. And I don't think the current sign has had a lot of trouble with vandalism and, you know, but I don't want to jinx anything, of course, but it just seems like the best place to have the sign and spend the money and get it up.
Thank you. Any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. 8.5, request to partner with Merritt Neighborhood Welcome PR Group. We have 3 recommendations. First recommendation is that council direct staff to proceed with establishing a partnership with Merritt Neighborhood Welcome to enhance community engagement, support local economic development, and provide a warm and inclusive welcome to new residents. Second recommendation is that council direct staff to include $2,500 in the 2026 budget to purchase city branded items or facility passes to include into the welcome package. And third is that council supports the inclusion of a welcome to the community letter from the mayor to include in the welcome package. Councillor Etchart, Councillor Petrosi. Questions on this? Councillor Baxter.
This has been done before. We've had the welcome wagon and it was not successful. It actually cost taxpayers money and it didn't succeed. So how are you gonna help this program succeed past a 5-year mark?
CAO.
So that is why we are recommending the council, like this organization can do as they choose. But ultimately what we're recommending is that council enter into this in a slow process. So for the rest of this year, we would not be doing any financial contribution. And then in 2026, we would do a small financial contribution if we seek some positive outcomes, and we evaluate as we go. So this organization can continue to function without the city's support. This is why we as administration is recommending a small level of support to see how this goes over the next couple of years.
Any other questions? Councillor Egan.
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to say that I thought for years the Welcome Wagon did do a pretty good job. I'm not sure exactly what happened to it. But I think that the information that Ms. Barra has given us shows that it's a well-founded group. How many did you say that there was in Canada already?
So currently they're in over 20 cities. They're across Alberta, BC, and Saskatchewan. They've been running for 9 years. The difference between Neighborhood Welcome and Welcome Wagon is that we are a marketing agency, so we know what we're doing in that aspect, but we're not solely focused on marketing. We want to boost the local economy. We want to help new residents feel welcomed. So that's our main focus, is the welcome aspect of it, which is why I would like the city to partner, because having a letter from the mayor, having any information from the city not only makes us more credible because we're operating within your city, but it's an opportunity for the city to say, we're supporting local businesses. We're here for you. Welcome to our community. Especially within this next calendar year when we're offering a reciprocal partnership, it's at no cost to you guys. If you choose to just put paper information in there, yes, it does cost you money to print, I realize that, but you could choose to put a letter and something about city services. Something that comes up quite often when I'm out is, what's the garbage schedule? Or why can't I put this in the recycling bin? Or where do I take it? Those are things that you can answer right off the bat. It's factual information that's coming from the city, and they're not turning to Facebook saying, hey, where does this go? What do I do with this? And exactly, and then it turns into something totally different.
No, I think it's a great program. The only, I saw some discrepancy for businesses on one point, it was $4.50 a basket. And then the next one I read, it was $5.50. So which is it?
So there is differences in rates, and we do that so that it is
Those were
inclusive
both
of
for
everyone.
businesses.
Yeah, and the rates are, like, I share it with everyone, so they know that there are different rates. So if you're a home business, it's $2.50 per basket. If you're a large business with over 50 employees, it's $5.50 a basket. And that's because, quite frankly, they can afford it versus the home business where it's probably only them, and this is their first venture into marketing. They can't afford it as much, but we want to be as inclusive as possible.
Okay, thanks.
Any other
I have a question.
Councillor Charney.
Is this strictly for homeowners, or will it be for people who are coming in to rent?
Anybody. So renters, even students at NVIT, if they're coming in and they are from out of town and they have an address within city limits, it's open to them.
So you could have someone coming in for 2 months, leaving, and they get,
Sorry. Potentially, yes. Our hope is that if they come in and their welcome experience is great and they get to know everything about their town and they're active in the community, they won't stay for 2 months. They'll stay for 10 years, 20 years.
Councillor Richard.
How do you track who's new, and like, how do you get your introductions, your referrals?
So far, Facebook has been the best avenue for finding newcomers.
Yeah.
I do a lot of our own posting and stuff. We've had, just this week, I handed out 9 packages to people who came up to me. Word of mouth is another. They can register for a welcome package through our website. I also have referrals with NBIT right now where information is there.
Yeah.
The Indigenous Justice Council is referring to us, and so is Work BC.
Any other questions? Thank you, Ms. Barrett. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I think it's important that we have a welcome to our community. I remember when we moved in, we had a welcome wagon that came to visit my family when we first moved into this small town many, many years ago, and it was welcome, made us feel like we belonged. So call the question on the motions. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you. 8.6 Municipal Bylaw Response Summary, June to June 2025. Recommendation that July 24, 2025 report of the Community Safety Coordinator entitled Municipal Bylaw Response Summary, January to June 2025 be received for information. Councillor Egan, Councillor Etchart. So it's for information only, so we don't really need to talk about it unless somebody has a burning question. Okay. All those in favor? Opposed?
Aye.
Notices of motion. No notices of motion. We have the CAO report.
I will just actually wanted to touch on a couple of things, particularly the Empower event that is being organized by our Community Services Department. You see the posters in your packages. We ask that you share those out. This is a funded event. So grant funding for this event, and it is called Empower, Protect, and Connect, a 12-week program combining self-defense and personal empowerment skills facilitated by certified instructors and registered clinical counselors. Sessions run once a week and are completely free to participants. This program is designed to help individuals build confidence, strengthen personal safety skills, and connect with others in a supportive environment. So we encourage everybody, council and anybody who's in the gallery, community members who might be watching or looking at our agenda, please share this with people that you think it would be benefit to, or organizations that you think it would be a benefit to that you interact with. I will tell you, this is a program that I'm very proud of our team for putting together, because it is, and the fact that they've geared a program towards men and women, like both streams. You often will see these as female programs, but it's very hard to put a program like this together because it's hard to get the skilled instructors that you need. So I'm very, very proud of the team for this amazing program that they've put together.
Thank you very much.
And then I just have one more thing I want to share as a shout out to our development services team. We had a development company that has been working with our development services team. So our planners, our engineering technologists, both down in development services and in public works. And I just want to say, this is what was written. Your entire team is amazing to work with. I haven't seen such prompt and polite responses in a very long time. And we work throughout Western Canada and have dealt with many municipalities. So I think it's really important that the public or the development team, as well as our public works technologists, get a little shout out for this kind of response from a developer in our community, because we don't often see people take time anymore in the world to give a compliment, right? We all are very quick to complain, but we don't often see people taking the time to give a compliment. So I'm very proud of the team for that.
Take the rest of the day off. No, good work. Thank you very much. Thank you for the report. We have some items there in the information. I just want to comment on the fire department activity. I know our fire department has been extremely busy for the last 2 months, and I think they've done an amazing job. I'm very proud of our fire department. Yeah, I mean, it's been a tough couple of months for them, so proud of how they react and how they keep us safe. So I appreciate it. Anybody wanted to on anything else? So we have already talked about the Empower event. Anything else? Reports from council. Councillor Baxter, good to go.
On August 11th, I went to the steering committee meeting and I learned a lot about the river, and we did a walk of the park. It was pretty good. And then on this Friday, we're gonna go down to the Spirit Square and learn about International Overdose Awareness. So I'm looking forward to that.
Councillor Petrosi.
On Sunday, July 27th, I attended and participated in the Merit Show and Shine, and it was excellent. I think it was 180 entries or over 200 entries. It was incredible. So love seeing this happen every year. Too bad we couldn't have a couple more through the summer. Thursday, August 7th, attended this Civic Center open house on water meters. I think it was quite well attended and very knowledgeable staff there. So thank you to the staff that were there. August 11th, attended Mayor Getz's residences. He was the first to have a water meter installed. So
Thanks for holding my hand, Paul. Appreciate it. That's it. July 24th, there was coffee with council. July 27th was the car show. Councilor Petrosi was there with his bike. July 29th, I had a meeting with the new chair of Community Futures, Nicola Valley, Lyle McDougall. And we had a great conversation and we decided to meet once a month just to see where everybody's going. Same day, we had the Conservative Shadow Minister Caucus meeting here. There was 18 of them, and I think we had a very good meeting and got some of our stuff out that we needed to get out. So hopefully they'll carry that back to Victoria. August the 7th was the water meter info session, which again was well attended, and I think everything was asked, including water meters. August 9th, went to the Abbotsford Air Show and really enjoyed it. August 11th, I had my water meter. Council came to support me. It was installed, very painless, and it's in there. Done very well. August 14th, TNRD, as usual. And then on August 15th, the CAO and I were involved in a cross-border network podcast that will be coming out in September.
First week of September.
And the podcast came to us because of the decisions that we have made over the last 2 years to get our community back into a financial state. And communities across Canada are noticing it, and they are wanting to know how we got there, why we got there. And we went through it. So it was pretty interesting to be picked out like that and have that happen. So it was really nice. August 25th, for those who don't know, Peter's Brothers has been sold to a company from France, and they are looking to set a fairly home base here in Merritt. So I took the gentleman around and we looked at some properties. We talked again today and hooked him up with a couple of people that own some property in town. So they're looking to establish a full-time outlet here, and the one also the one in Williams Lake. So I had a phone meeting with the Minister of Forests, Ravi Parmar, talking about Aspen Planers, and Aspen Planers has released that they are having some issues, which we all know about. I let the minister know that we still are concerned about timely permits being signed. He assured me that the permits have been signed, but right now they're caught in the tariff situation, and it's a little tough for them. I also let him know that stumpage rates are still unacceptable for our mills in BC. They need to look at that, and they also need to stop allowing mills that are no longer in this town from harvesting and taking the wood out of this valley rather than leaving it for Aspen, who really needs it. So hopefully he's heard that and will continue on with that. Gas Buddy, Kelowna 147.9 as a low, 151.9 as a high. Kamloops 141.9, high of 149.9. Prince George 141.9, 145.9 is high. Cranbrook 138.9 and their high is 141, and Merritt 147 to 149. So we almost win that one. So our prices are a little high. Matter of fact, I was in Kelowna last weekend and it was 132 and we were 152. So I was a little concerned about that. Rumor control. Here are the facts. So on Saturday, I went to the farmers market, met with the staff, or the whatever we call them, their board. Let them know that we are not breaking ties with the farmers market. I don't know where that came from. I assured them that as long as they wanted to be where they wanted to be, they could be. One of the things that they were asked about is if they would like to be part of the downtown rebuild. And I think that's maybe where things went off the rail. We're offering that to every group if they want to be part of the downtown revitalization. So we are not walking away from farmers market, so we can stroke that one off. The next day I went to the golf course and met with David Bogstein to let him know that the golf course is not for sale. Has never been for sale, will never be for sale. Just because RE/MAX has a sign that says they're sponsoring that's not a for sale sign. So when you are driving by the golf course and you see that sign, that's not a for sale sign. So one of the things that I let them know is that Under the community charter, we no longer can charge them $1 a year. We cannot do that any longer. The government feels that taxpayers need to get more for their land. So we will cross that bridge when we get to it. They're well aware of it. Mako, got a call from Mako. Their second round of funding has been approved, and they've also received their government funding. So they'll be moving on to that as quickly as possible. We talked about water meters, and I've made it really clear that there will not be a hidden fee of $50 or $100 a month starting right now. That was a ghost bill or a ghost amount that we just wanted people to see. I do believe it's now being removed. I went on the radio and did the exact same spot again. So in the future, if there's people that have concerns about things, my office or council, please come and talk to us. It's really easy to do. So who's next? Councillor Etchart.
Well, after that big long spiel,
Sorry,
anything
it was
less
a long
just
time.
seems minimal, but I think everybody's had a very busy summer, coffee with council. A few people showed up. The MLA meeting that we had with the Conservative caucus was great, getting to meet all the different MLAs from around the province. The water meeting open house was well attended, lots of questions, and thank you to the staff for organizing all that. It was great. The water meter installation at the mayor's house was interesting to see it actually happen. And I attended the SILGA retreat for the board, make plans for some education seminars for elected officials for the coming year, and some activities and discussion of what's happening. Activities?
Council retreats.
The SILGA retreat for the board member, where they're getting to do some planning for, things for next year. Resolution ideas, different education pieces. And so that was really interesting. That was in Revelstoke. So it was good to see where our next convention is going to be and get to visit the community and seeing how they do things, music every night where we have music in the park. So it's interesting to see. So, yeah. That's
Regan.
Yeah, thank you. It's been a long month. It's been very busy for me outside of council, but I did go to the Conservative caucus, met with all the MLA the critics of the various ministries. Thank you. And one of them was from Salmon Arm, and we were talking about the food hub, and they would be very interested to have us over to show us a couple of their food hubs that they've got over there. So if we could maybe work on a day when we could all go over, that would be great, as opposed to going to the island and having to spend an extra day on the island. And I also attended the meter installation at Mayor Mike's, which was a good event. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Rogan.
I just have a quick question for staff and council. So what was the feedback at the water meeting open house? Or what did people say? Were they okay? Were there concerns? I just want to hear a little bit more about that.
I would say, there were probably about 50 people that attended. And the contractor was there as well to be able to answer some technical questions. I think, so the director of public works and I were there, and the mayor, and I think it went quite well. I think that people felt like they were able to ask questions. And as the mayor said, we were able to put water meters and understanding the cost of water into the context of the bigger financial picture of the municipality. So I think I talked about water meters, and then about 600 other questions about our operations and finance and long-term planning came to me from the group of gentlemen that I was speaking to. I sat at a table with a number of older gentlemen who had a lot of questions. So I think it was an opportunity, again, just for people to ask questions and for us to be able to put the water meters into context around, our drought requirements, our understanding of where we're losing water, why are we using so much water compared to the national average. We're almost 4 times the national average per capita for water use. So I was able to really put a lot of that in context. And I think most people, I didn't have anybody that I spoke to leave feeling unheard, or that they weren't, my table, it was like, well, people are going to have to do it. Kind of the outcome I got.
I felt that it was well attended. There was a lot of questions about the Ken Guard well and why we couldn't use it. So I think Director did a very good job of explaining that about 100 times. And so people are well understanding why we're doing that. And I think when you start to talk about that, where something as simple as manganese, which can cloud your water, is a $3 million fix, you got to get that money from somewhere, right? So, but I felt that it was well attended. I think there was great questions asked, and nobody seemed too bent out of shape about it. A lot of people were in support that have been waiting for this for a while. So, yeah, it was. I would have liked to have seen more, but I mean, 50 was still good. Yeah, still good. Councilor Regan.
Yeah, the only question that I get from people, I mean, once you explain to them why we need water meters and why households with fewer people will spend less than what they're probably paying right now, the only question I get is, well, what if we have a pool? You know, was there any answer to maybe the size of a pool and how much that might cost the person extra?
Well, that's the whole idea of the water meter.
Yeah.
It's the same thing,
But don't they have any information from other communities?
well, CFO puts it correctly. We don't, so you live in your house and there's somebody up in the hill that has a mansion. We all don't pay the same flat rate to live on our land. Your house is charged by the size of it and your square footage, and you pay for that and you pay for yours. So if you have a pool, you're going to pay more. Simple as that.
I know, but my question is, do they have any examples of what other communities are paying?
I'm sure that can be gotten.
Yeah.
Will entirely depend on how we rate the cubic meter of water, right? So we won't know that until we know a little bit more about the health of our system and how council wants to bill for water.
Yeah,
right?
ultimately it comes to
So
council.
we won't be able to answer that question until we know what our water is for each individual user, what those costs are. And some of that will include thinking about, well, we see that we're losing water from the system because we know we're making this much water and only this much is going out to the meter, to meters, something is missing in between. Well, it's not just the cost of making the water that residents are responsible for, it's the underground infrastructure. So how council chooses to bill for water and or taxation to ensure that we can afford to renew underground infrastructure, make repairs to ensure we're not spending, $3.2 million on chemicals when we really only have to spend $2.2 million. Like, we don't know that until we have all the data. So we can't even guess at this point.
Okay, that's fair.
Anything else? Councilor Charney?
I went with Coffee with Council, which is always enjoyable. Then I went to the water meter installation, and I was very impressed with the representative from Neptune. He explained things very clearly, and I thought he did a really good job. I did not have any negative comments from people that were there. I was asked by a resident how they were going to deal with some households that have hooked up their water sprinklers directly to city line. So I talked to Mr. Green and I think the CAO with regards to that, and they have that all under control, which is good. And then I went to Mayor Mike's installation of his water meter, and it was a good chinwag with other council members, and that's all I've done.
Thank you. Anyone else? I think it's everybody. 12.1, letter of support request, Nicola Valley Birding Project. Recommendation that council direct staff to issue a letter of support for the Nicola Valley Birding Project Community Gaming Grant request by Tourism Nicola Valley. Councilor Ogan, Councilor Petrosi, any questions on this? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. 12.2, partnering to strength healthcare recruitment. That is, these are just information items, right? Yeah. And the one book, one summer is there as well. So the closed session, recommendation that this meeting be closed to the public pursuant to section 91E, the acquisition, disposition, or expropriation of land or improvements, and K, negotiations and related discussions respecting the proposed provisions of a municipal service that are at their preliminary stages. If the council considers that disclosure could be reasonably expected to harm the interests of the municipality of the community charter. Councilor Baxter, Councilor Petrosi, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 5 minutes. Mike's off.